before I forget. Hi, this is me. I hope all of you know me by now. If you don't, I'm currently the regional manager. I added my social media links. So feel free to follow. Uh, looking for more Insta follower. We have a kind of a fight between regional office who has the most Insta followers. So yeah, and do follow me on LinkedIn. Some of us really do share cool content on LinkedIn for professional development, career, blah blah. You can check those out too. So yeah, moving on. So the objective of this session is basically there is only one objective, is to mentally prepare all of you for the first 90 days of the term. As simple as that. Soon, some of you have selected the team, some of you are still in the process of selecting the team, whatever the situation you are right now, but to prepare you well for the first 90 days is the objective of the session. What you may learn is you going to first have a bit of reflection on your why, then you're going to plan for key priorities with your stakeholders. You've gone through a stakeholder management workshop yesterday with Sumi, and you've understood what are the key stakeholders and how to manage them. You're going to plan from key priorities with those stakeholders for the first quarter and basically overall prepare yourself for the first quarter. Is it clear so far? All of you guys can hear me. If you cannot, just type it in the chat. And if I tend to speak fast, if you don't understand, my connection interrupts, just let me know so that I can go slower and help you guys. All right, amazing. Okay, just give me a second. All right, cool. Cool, amazing. So this is how the content plan of the session is. We're going to have a bit of reflection in the between, then I'm going to have theory. We have a big 45 minutes activity, then I'm going to end it with tips, and then at the end we'll take some Q&A. So this is just to mentally prepare. This is 1.5 hour session, so just mentally preparing you for the kind of output. Just you can prepare your energy accordingly around this session. So to begin with, I hope everyone is here now, around 40 to 50 people. I would ask you guys to close your eyes, okay? But to know that you have closed your eyes, first open your camera. I still see most of people have not opened their cameras, so just open your cameras and let me see that you have closed your eyes, all right? Once you have closed your eyes, I'm gonna count and we'll do a quick breathing exercise. When I say breathe in, breathe in. When I say breathe out, simply, okay? So let's start. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold it for a bit. Breathe out. I'm going to ask you to do 2 more times. Breathe in. Hold it a bit longer. Breathe out. Come on, the last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep your eyes closed and continue breathing. Remember the time you decided to apply for LCP. Keep your eyes closed, okay? Remember the moment that it struck you when the applications were open that you decided to apply. Maybe you had a conversation with your LCP current, or maybe you had a conversation with your friend in the LC, and you discuss, okay, I'm going to apply for this LCP position. You started probably with the letter of intent, sending the letter of intent. You did a lot of research to fill in the application. Maybe you had a different process. You filled the application. Then you went through an interview with your EB members or externals. Then you probably went through an intense day of LCP election. Some of you were running alone. Some of you had other candidates running with them. Remember the moment, just the moment before your announcement. That nervousness, that tension, that am I going to be the next LCP of my LC or not? And finally, the moment of announcement, that you knew that, okay, I am the LCP elect of my LC. Maybe the moment of when, if you're if you're doing the election physically, then the water pouring moment, or if it was virtually, then however it happened to you, however the news broke out to you, the water poured on your eyes. Maybe you gave your first victory speech to your LC, explaining them your vision, explaining them what you bring onto the table as an LCP. In that moment of relief. Then you opened your EB applications. You started selecting your team. Then you filled a form to be a delegate in the APLS. We started with APLS, and now today is the last day of APLS. I wanted to open your eyes. I wanted to open your eyes now. Did you guys go through the mental picture of how you guys, of your LCP journey so far? That was your journey so far. I want you to pair up with someone and share how was it feeling. And these are the 3 questions I have for you. You can take a screenshot, and I'll also post this question into the chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break you guys. I'm going to break you out into. Basically, I'm going to pair you up. So share the answers to these 3 questions to your buddy. All right. I'm going to have 10 minutes for this activity, and then you come back after sharing. The questions are: why did I decide to apply for LCP? What was your why? What is my vision for my LC? The third question is: what has shaped me as the person who I am today, or the leader who I am today? All right. So your 10 minutes of breakouts would start now. All right. I see some of you are already back. All of you are already back. Does anyone want to share what they discussed? Yes, go on. Isabella.
Hi. Yeah, I was in our breakout room. Like we were so alike. From the third question, like how do we become the people who we are right now? We both mentioned the people, people who impact us, like who has our predecessors, our EPs, our members, the people in other terms, so like people around us also shape us. Another one is why did we decide to apply for LCP? It was kind of interesting. We both mentioned if we're all not applying for LCP, this entity will shut down. Yeah, sad truth, but I don't know. I don't know. It's so popular. It's such a popular coincidence right now. Yeah, but anyway, it's also like being responsible and standing up for this LC is also like a very nice example to all the membership in our entity. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Next, I would ask Surindu. Yeah, yours first.
Yeah. Thank you, Prayog. So in my pairing, it was Engine from Myanmar. So what we discussed was so why we decided to apply for LCP is the fact that as entities, I mean, as people, we want to go up more in Isaac, and we have realized that we haven't really discovered the full potential that while we're in our current position, and we need to go further to kind of explore our potential. And so Engine was actually a TL, and she applied to be LCP to be able to mold the entity in a way that it's much more, where the members are much more loyal to Isaac and much more committed to Isaac. And in my case, it's about making sure that our entity, which is currently an official expansion, to make it to a place where we can be an example for other LCs, and to be able to be an LC maybe perhaps after my term. And like what impacted us, I think it's very common in Isaac, is the people before us, our predecessors, and they impacted us in a way where we wanted to be in the positions that they were, and to do even better, to do the things that they did right, and also to do something different to what they did wrong. And I think even like for me, if you guys are actually an inspiration for me to see how far I've come in Isaac, and also how far I can go. And yeah, so thank you so much for that space, and thank you for the opportunity to talk as well.
Thank you, Surindu, for sharing that as well. I will take one more, Mia from Philippines. She asked first.
Okay, hi. So I was with Mai, and we were talking about how I hope it's okay. I hope it's okay to share. She said she was scared, and that's why she applied. And I guess I really loved that answer because it resonated with me. I mean, all of us were afraid to take it on, but that's part of what drove us to apply. I mean, I never thought that I'd be applying this year. I always thought that if I were to give back to Isaac, it would take me years of development to get where I am now. And if it weren't for a lot of people in the LC who were telling me, Mia, you should apply. Mia, I'll do this just to encourage you to join. Mia, you're the LCP that I want. And I think the sweetest thing I heard was that, Mia, for me, you embody what it means to be an ISECer. And that was what really, like, I was like, if these people believe in me and have faith in me, maybe I should start having faith in myself and have faith that we could do this together. And yeah, the comments are making me cry.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna share anymore because I might cry.
It's all right. Do you want to share more?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Mia. I can take one last from Vatsal, because he also asked in the chat?
So yeah, I was with Ravin in one of the breakout space. So basically, it was like really good conversation, and what I felt was that we actually connected on a really similar level, because like even my and his wife were applying for LCP was like really similar. Even our visions were really similar. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, even our visions were really similar, that we actually wanted to like make people leaders that they actually wanted to be when they joined the organization. And it's like our stories of like having like dual roles, going through different challenges, and at the end like that, those all challenges being the one that shaped us as a leader. So like yeah, it was a really good conversation talking to him, and knowing that yes, actually being ISECers, we actually share like our visions, our way of thinking in a really similar way, if not same also. So yes.
Thank you for sharing that too. I can resonate with all of you a lot, and it takes courage to share in this kind of a platform as well. So thank you so much all for you for sharing. Um, I wanted to hold back to that thought that why did you decide to apply? Because from now onwards, you're going to be the LCP. Like this is the conference which is prepared you to take on any challenges which is out there for your LCP role. And in the next few months or a quarters, this is going to be a lot of work you will be doing. Sometimes in the day-to-day course, you will just go on autopilot and do your daily stuff. But always keep this why of ISEC in your mind. With why in the first place you decided to apply, and even at any given moment or at any given point, if you feel low or if it's not happening, or you feel uh, a lot of pressure, or if you feel that I can't do this, or this is too tough, this is uh, very challenging. In those moments of challenge, I hope your why of applying and your vision for your LC, uh, you remember that, and that takes you across from any challenges you're facing. So keep that thought and keep that why in the back of your mind. And I'm going to move on to the next part, which is what different things can you expect from now onwards as an LCP. Let's go into that preparation mode. You may have a conference, which is your MC conference, or even your local conference if you still get to that. Some of you have completed your team selection, some of you are in the process of team selection. Then you will do individual transition, then you will do team transitions with your previous team. Then you will have team planning. You will onboard your new team, your ED member team. You need to work on your budget, how everything fits into one place, especially during these times. How can you make sure that your LC stays and you carry on the legacy of your predecessors? You need to understand the MC direction. The MC is also going to go through a replanning and then going to give you a direction, what did they replan, and from that you will have like a lot of MC direction, like how to plan for your LC, for your own direction. You will basically, you will have like 10,000 stakeholders behind you. Okay, your alumni, your partners, your clients, your EPs are still applying on opportunities from your LCs. So there'll be a lot of stakeholders, the parents of your members, your university partners, all of them will be now your responsibility. You need to manage them. And in all this, all juggling all this, you need to also take care of your personal learning, because you also applied for this job thinking that it would develop you personally as a better leader, right? So in all this juggling, you're also taking care of your own learning. To be honest, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be very chaotic. It's going to be messy. And that's how it is. That's how it is supposed to be. Because in ISEC, we do learn from experiences, right? The experiential leadership development model makes us learn from those experiences. But in that chaos, if you don't want to mismanage anything, if you want to get it right, it's good to be over prepared, right? These are the three things you would be working on. It's good, always good to be over prepared if you want to avoid the chaos, but still make the most out of this situation, right? These are the three things majorly you would be working. Lead, manage, and represent. That is your job role. As simple as that. Leading your EB team, and depending on whatever structure, however structure you have in your LCs, leading your EB team and MB team. This is most common structure. And managing your EB team and managing your LC subsystems. What is the LC subsystems? Is basically all the subsystems, like your operations, your finances, your people, your governance, LC finances and legalities as well, your organization development, if you have any platform or system, things like that. All the subsystems you will be managing along with your EB members and representing ISEC internally and externally. Internally, that means within your entity or in such forums like on a within ISEC, basically on your national plan, with your national plenary, on the regional plenary, or even international plenary, and externally, which is within your city, or within your university, if you're city based or university based LC. This is going to be your major job role. Any and every job role you do can be divided into these three categories. So let's look at. But even before we go deeper into it, like in the first place, why are we even talking about this? Why are we even talking about all this management? Because one of the key stakeholders from this team, if you see, is going to be there with you throughout the experience, is going to be your EB team. So the key thing, your key job role, if I have to, out of these three major job roles, if I have to tell you that one job role you need to do properly is your EB management. And that's why we are talking about it. Providing that leadership development experience to your EB members starts with giving them proper team standard. So in the first 90 days, you're going to majorly be working on team building for your EB team, basically your team creation, where you will do transition with the previous team. If you yourself have gotten the transition from the previous team, that is a part of their closing. So if you can see the transition from the previous team, and then in the building phase, transition from the previous team individually and team to team. You're going to be working upon your core competence, functional skills, build your team rules. You're going to come up with team plan, which will have purpose, goals, strategies, JDs, timeline, budget, developmental goals. And then last but not the least, you're going to have individual plan with each of your EB members, which is your initial LDA and your own personal development plan. This may seem like a lot, but trust me, this is going to take majority of the time from your next 90 days as the leader, because the most important job you have is to lead and guide the people who you have selected on your team. The people on your EB team have applied to this EB team even during this pandemic to get some leadership development experience, and it's now your job to make sure that that goes smoothly. So they are your key stakeholders. That's what I'm trying to say. Even if you have seen this, if you know what is this, the new membership experience, you have recruiting, onboarding, experiencing and advancing. Some of you have completed the recruitment of your EB team. Some of you are still recruiting your EB team. And then the next phase is going to be onboarding. So I'm going to talk a bit more about onboarding. So there's this article, there's this actually a booklet, which I was searching. I got it from LinkedIn Talent Solutions, which is very interesting. I've given you the link. You can check out the link in the output folder also. So once you get the output, you can check. But that talks about onboarding in a box, like how, like a guideline from LinkedIn to onboard any employee for the first 90 days. It's a very interesting resource. You can check it out later. But one key thing I want to take from that is like why it is important in the first place. Like during the onboarding, this is an external reference that it is said that 4% of new hires leave the job after disastrous first day. If the first day of the employee doesn't go well, then about around 4% of the people leave the organization in the first day itself. 22% of turnover occurs within the first 45 days. Within the first 1.5 months, 22% of the people leave the job, simply leave the job. And that costs the company more than 3 times than the person at the previous job. So this may be more relevant for the external companies, but you're getting the point, right? Because since to hire the new person, the whole process and then train them, and they leave in first 45 days, this is not something any company would want. And definitely this is not something we would want to happen. We would want it to happen in our teams, right? At the end of the day, it's a voluntary organization. People don't get paid, at least in the national level and below. So the point I'm trying to make is first 45, or rather first 3 months, are very crucial in any teams or in any team building. Why? Because you got to, this is one of my favorite quotes. You don't get a second chance to make the first impression. The first impression of the employees, you don't get a second chance to do it. So how you do the first 90 days is extremely important. Has anyone read the book, The First 90 Days? Give me a yes if you read in the chat. If no, yes. Reading, no, yes. Reading it, okay. All right, cool. No worries. It's an interesting resource. You can find it online, the PDF. If you want, I can share it with you. It's a very interesting book. It talks about the importance of the first 90 days, why the transition and the first onboarding is extremely important. If you don't have time to read the book, I have gotten a summary for you. This is an interesting website you can add called Reading Graphics. Or there are multiple websites like this. This is something which I use. They have some free books summaries. So this gives you like a pictorial summary of a book. So like a 15-minute summary of a book, things like that. So this talks about 10 key strategies for transition acceleration. How can you get the transition right and how can you get the onboarding right? So it talks about know what motivates you, tailor your strategy, negotiate success, speed up your learning, get some early victories with your new team, get aligned with the national direction, for example, build your team, build alliances, those partnerships or stakeholder management, manage yourself, and accelerate everyone through the growth. And there are certain key pointers which I'm not going to go through in detail. So you can just go to the readinggraphics.com and check the summary also. But it's a very interesting read. If you're interested, then you can check it out. So let's look at, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 4 things, like what you should do before 90 days, you should do for the first day, first month, first quarter, and then we're going to go into activity where you will actually map out your first 90 days with your key stakeholders. Are you with me so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far, or type it in the chat. Thumbs ups. I see a couple of thumbs ups. All right, cool. So some of the things you can consider even before the 90 days start. So when does the first FAQ I get, the first question I usually get is, when is my first 90 days start? As soon as you select the team, as soon as the whole team selection is complete, your first 90 days start. The onboarding part is included in the first 90 days. Simple as that. So some of the things you can consider before you officially start your term in January 1st, like in the month of December now, today is 28 already. So you have the whole month of December in front of you. Some of the things you can consider before even starting the first 90 days is you can do some you can do some individual assessments for the team to understand what sort of a personality they are. If you remember my workshop first, the betting on your team strengths, you created that whole MBTI, and based on MBTI and based on Enneagram, you created your team profile, understood the team strengths, the common team strengths, common weaknesses, how to utilize strengths to make it a skill, and how to utilize opportunities to turn into, how to utilize weaknesses and turn into opportunities, things like that. You can understand all those things by doing individual and team assessments. Team assessments are together. How many from the team, understand how many of them have completed individual transitions with their predecessors, how did they complete the transition tasks which you have given them, how was the shadowing process for them, how did they manage the overall shadowing process with the predecessors, how like you may be working upon team to team transitions, 2021 dreaming, how do you want your LC to be in 2021? You prepare for your LC planning, which is going to be somewhere at the end of December or January, depending on your timeline. Even some virtual team days for team building, right? Like maybe the game, movie nights, whatever you plan to do. So this is something which may come up in the first month, which is December. You can take a quick snapshot if you want. What can you do for the first day? Okay, the day 1, January 1st of your term. Some of the things you can think about, prepare is understand how is the team spirit, remind you of their why. This is very important, like, to prepare their start of the journey within a very nice way. that spirit stays with them for a long time. So to remind them of their why, what is the purpose they applied for EB. You can do the 3 most important question activity. There are multiple activities you can do. Get a message from their predecessors or whoever motivated them to apply for EB members and things like that. Give them all the tools they need. Ensure that you do their PDP starting from the first day itself. And the most important thing is start the LCP routine. Start the routines of the team from day one. Don't slack it off. Right? Some of the things you can consider on day one. Second thing, some of the things you should consider for the first month, which is the month of January for your term, or depending on the timeline. Some of you I know are starting in December, so I'm just going to keep it fluid. Okay. How you want to do the weekly meetings, how you want to do the synergy routines, how you want to work upon your strategies. If you have a conference or a network touch point, how do you want to work on that? Do you want to, because February is mostly the recruitment process in AP, so most of you would be preparing for the GET process in TM. So how do you want to prepare for that? If you want to take up any local support team members, LSTs, or what is the knowledge, strength, and knowledge, skills, and attitude gap between your team? How do you want to bridge that knowledge gap or skills gap? Or how do you want to shape the attitude? How do you want to measure the PDP progress? Any additional support your team members need? Your monthly one-to-one with your team member, your feedback spaces with your team members, and so on. And you're at the end, the first monthly review. These are some of the things which will come up in the month of January. And overall, in the first quarter, some of the things will come up are your overall strategy review for the quarter, overall structure. Do these structures make sense? Now, some of you may do the change management for GT. Are we still doing GV? Are we still doing GT? What is the research I need to do? Still things like that. You need to review that. Does the structure make sense accordingly? What is the KSA gap again in the team? How can I improve my team in the first quarter? What is the PDP progress? Any additional support they need? Monthly one-to-ones, quarterly one-to-ones with them. Again, individual feedback. And before you know it, you will be in your quarter review discussing these things. So these are, I just gave you a snapshot of some of the things you can consider for your first quarter. This is not an exhaustive or exclusive list. There can be multiple things which come in trade. So what we're going to do now is directly go into the activity. Okay. Let me share my screen. Let me show you how the activity is going to look like. Okay. Can you guys see my screen now? Okay, all right, cool. So this is the link which I'll give you. Once you go here, you can click on any of the worksheet. The worksheet is basically, like, you can create any, since there are like 50 people. I don't want it to come on one thing. So if you, all three are same. If you open any, it will look something like this. What I would want you to do is that if you've completed your team and if you've already started your routine from December, then do December. If you have not, then you can just hide December and start from January. But I want you to map out for each of the stakeholder, each of these 6 stakeholders, what is going to be your key priority in the first 90 days. So January, February, and March, week-wise. Make a copy for yourself. I don't need the output, so you can just make a copy at your local folder, or you can, if you want, you can just duplicate the tab, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't necessarily need the output. So in the stakeholder management session, you must have understood what are the stakeholders you need to manage. So I pointed out 6 main key stakeholders. If you want to add more stakeholders, feel free, things like that. The first stakeholder I gave an importance to is your EB team, because that's where your majority of the time going to go, managing your EB team. Then your MB team, your TL team, then your overall LC, certain touch points with your MC members. So this is your managed part. There'll be certain customers like your youth in your city, your EPs, which are already in the system, or your partners, your companies, NGOs, universities, your local board of advisors, and alumni. These are also additional partners you need to manage as a president or represent with them certain things. And last but not the least, I added these 3 things. What is my learning goal? What is the knowledge do I need to manage these key priorities with these stakeholders? And what is the skill do I need? All right. So it need not be week wise for everything. So for example, if you will do just one meeting in the first month, you can just feel free to club this. Okay, just one meeting with the board of advisors, whatever. If your learning goal is monthly, I would suggest it weekly, but then if it's 2 months, then you can do monthly or bi-weekly, however you prefer. So the tool is yours. Feel free to use it however you want. You have total of 25 minutes for this activity. All right. So I'm going to give you the link now. We have about 20 to 25 minutes. And then we're going to take some sharing. Yeah. Okay, this is the link I posted. Can you guys open the sheet? Just check. I hope you have edit access as well. Yes, all of you have edit access. All right, open any sheet, make a copy for yourself wherever you want. Just don't do it in the folder because storage is running out. Do it for yourself, or you can even add a tab for yourself and make your LC name. Okay, you can choose any of the three. It's the same thing. I just made it so that not all the traffic should go into one sheet. Okay, and I'm gonna give you 25 minutes for this activity. I'm gonna play some nice reflective songs with the background and yeah. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, time's up, guys. Time's up. Time's up. Let's come back. Let's come back. Type it in the chat if you're back. Type it in the chat if you're back. Give me a thumbs up. Open your cameras. Back, right. Open your cameras. Okay, all right. Nice. Okay. All right, cool. Does anyone want to share how was the activity for them? What did they do? If you want, you can share your screens as well. Does anyone want to share? How was the output so far? Go ahead, Thomas from New Zealand.
Okay. Should I screen share?
Can?
Okay. Okay. I hope everyone can see it.
Yes.
So I've kind of done this before within my within New Zealand. So I kind of knew what I was doing, but basically my main reason for what I typed was for my LC, we're doing like an initiative throughout the summer break for us. So it's called Learning Without Borders, which is like an international pen pal. So like I kind of knew what I was talking about for like my customers, my TL, my EB members. So like basically I kind of filled briefs of it. So for like EB members, it's like start transitioning them to the current EB after a conference. So transitioning the skills, etc. For TL team, for my LC, we might not have TLs because they're kind of redundant in terms of like the number of members we have. LC, like I said, preparing and planning for Learning Without Borders, International Pen Pal. MC, basically I wrote basically assisting the new EB members in terms of customers, like advertising Learn Without Borders towards towards university students as well as international students. So that's kind of what I went over. And then partners would be like sending out contacts with potential clubs to collaborate with us. Boards of advisors was more along the lines of, we don't have one at the moment, but we're in the process of looking for past alumni to participate in board of advisors. Alumni, basically the same thing. So seeking out them to participate in BOA, as well as for my local committee, we're thinking of running like a workshop event kind of thing. Since we can't do cross-cultural exchanges, we're thinking once a month we get past alumni who are in like professional areas of business who come together, and kind of each month they kind of teach Victoria students, or sorry, uni students, different soft or hard skills. So that's what I kind of did for like the first, I think, 2 months. I kind of done it, kind of planning out initially. Of course, I'll probably change it a bit and flesh it out more. But yeah, that's what I wrote so far.
Thank you, Thomas, for sharing that. I would want to add that you should also mention certain your learning goal, the yellow part.
Okay.
In that.
Yeah.
Because that's equally important as a precedence. If you don't learn yourself, that because you become the face of the entity. So if you want your EB members to grow, first you need to start working on your personal development as well. So, but thank you. Like, I think that's comprehensive enough. Like, some people I saw some people started week by week. Some people started doing EB team first, depending on whatever you choose. Does anyone else want to share? I can take one more share. What's their progress so far? I know, guys, it's 10% or it's even lesser than that. It's completely fine. The activity is not meant to be completed in this particular session, but the idea is you get started with it and then you work on it. Like this will be with you. This can be your planner where you plan your quarter and things like that. So, anyone else want to share? Going twice. Go and last chance. I saw LCP, LUST, LCP, some LCs of Myanmar, they had a good progress. LCP in Australia, they had a good progress. Some people. Anyone want to share? Last chance. 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, cool. It's completely fine, whatever output you have. The idea of this activity was, this is probably the last chance you got in the conference to share. So I will, at the end of the session, again ask if you want to share, you can. But then the idea behind this is the activity is not meant to be completed in this session. The idea was to get you guys started with this and to think long term and at the same time think short term, to balance these two things out as something extremely important. So the next I want to share with you is, like, even after these first 90 days, you have certain things you need to still work upon, how you're keeping up with the team routine after the quarter, how you follow and build the national education cycles, make sure in the process you have enough feedback and then you improve based on your quarter review and things like that. So there are just planning for 90 days is not necessarily enough. You have things beyond that as well to consider. So this is what I wanted to say. And we are coming towards the end of the sessions, and I want to leave you with 5 tips to manage your Q1. Are you with me? Are you guys ready to learn the 5 tips? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far. Okay, all right, cool. Thumbs up. Okay, nice. So 5 tips for me to hack the first 90 days. Right? The first tip is culture feeds on value. You must have spoken in your LC application, or you want to work upon your LC culture, you want to develop it, especially during this pandemic time. You want to improve the morale and boost the culture, but that feeds on value. In a P term, your biggest insecurities will come in front of you and become your obstacles for your progress. So, for example, if you as a person are not good in managing finances, then that will become the reality of your LC. If you as a president are not good in, say, managing people, then that will reflect on your LC culture. So it starts with you and it ends with you. That's what I want to mention over here. So that's why the P term is very powerful. And that's why it gives you an opportunity to transform yourself at the same time transforming your LC. So define your personal values and don't hesitate to make value-based decision. If you think certain, say for example, if one of your values is sustainability, then don't hesitate to make decision what towards in the favor of making sustainable for LC and things like that. Don't hesitate to make value-based decision, but to be able to do that, first you need to define your personal values. And last one of my favorite is like stand for something or you will fall for anything. Be sure in your mind what is your direction. What you had certain vision when you applied for the LC, right? Keep that vision in the mind and stand up for that vision. Because if you don't, then nobody else will, or you will fall for anything. So this is my first tips. Ensure LC culture. My second tip is communication is the key. Whatever you do, whatever vision you have, whatever strategies, plan, everything you do, that has to be backed up with a proper communication. Because, and even this during this pandemic time, virtual communication especially, that fosters a lot of miscommunication. So be extra careful when you're doing it in a virtual manner. Avoid common traps or miscommunication. Don't like when you communicate with your EB members or even for your stakeholders, like being defensive or sarcastic or overgeneralizing or something like in a conversation, there should one person shouldn't feel I'm winning and I'm losing. The conversation is not to figure out who is right, but it's rather it should be about what is right when you discuss about strategies and other things. So it shouldn't be a win-loss conversation. It should be rather win-win or should be regular conversation. And when you work with your EB team, always encourage them to come up with new ideas, come up with new initiatives, innovative things. Always encourage, like when you communicate with the team. That's the second tip I have to manage your EB team and in the first 90 days. Third thing, probably the one of the most important tip I can give you is master your routines. Whatever priorities you came up with right now and mention in the tracker, put everything on calendar. Like if you mention, okay, this week I'm going to work on say EB PDPs, personal development plans for EB, put that on the calendar. Put the booking links, put everything there, because if you've not used to using Google Calendars, probably this is a good time you should start with it. Even I was not used to it till even I was MCVP, to be honest. Put everything on calendar. That's going to be your best friend. Don't be afraid to challenge the routine. And if the routine is not working for you, don't be afraid to change it. If say regular weekly meetings with your EB, the timing is not working, you don't have to wait for a monthly review or you don't have to wait for a quarterly review to change it. You can change it whenever you want. Yeah, just sync your GCal with your phone and everywhere. And lead by example. If you say that you want to start the meeting on time, end it on time, you want it to be precise, you want it to be uh, like lead the routine by example. If you decide that you're going to do daily check-in, you should uh, check in before this time, then you should be the first one, or you should lead by example in following that routine, things like that. That's my third thing. I wish I could show you examples how we do it in Arrow, but if you want, we can get in touch with us, or even with your MC members. We teach them these things very thing, and we track their routines also. So fourth thing, and one of the most important thing, is focus on your personal development. Because emphasize in the team the importance of learning and development of your team. And because like as I mentioned in one of the previous workshops, is like your level of professional achievement can never be more than your level of personal development. So if you want to grow yourself and your team, make sure that you invest certain time and energy and efforts into developing yourself and your team. Cultivate healthy habits. Don't uh, this is something which you can decide in your team rules or whatever, like you shouldn't communicate with me from this time to this time, or things like that. Make sure that you're giving each other enough time for their personal space, whatever is your personal goal. Make sure that your team follows healthy habit, probably like healthy morning routine and whatever works for your team. But make sure it's the environment is healthy and you also care for your team. Find a team coach if you can, or if your budget or whatever allows. If you know a friend who can support you with mentoring. If you can coach, then it's good. But if you still need to learn, then it's best to find an external coach who can guide your team through certain things. Through you can turn up to your past your alumni or your take suggestion from your past MC members, things like that. But please work on getting a coach or getting a mentor for your team. for, and also help finding your teammates the right mentor. For example, if you think, say, any of your EB member needs a particular skill enhance, or need to hone particular skill, or need to work upon certain things, you can help them find the right mentor to improve them. But the idea overall is to focus on their personal development. And last but not the least, the last tip I want to give you and leave you with is track the progress. Like in the morning plenary chair was talking about this quote, right? Organization builds what CEO chooses to measure. Unless you're tracking it and measuring it and evaluating the progress, you won't be able to, that wouldn't be a part of your routine, or that wouldn't translate into an LC culture, or that won't happen in your LCP if you don't track it. So make sure you track the right KPIs. Always ask the team, what did we learn from this situation and how can we improve, and document it for the next teams for transitions. Don't complain that my predecessor didn't give me transition and blah, blah, blah. We don't have enough documentation. It starts with the last best time is yesterday, the next best time is today. If the predecessor didn't do it, you should start doing it. Like start working on the documentation that is responsive, that is important for your transition to the future generations as well. So to quickly wrap up, these are the 5 tips in a snapshot. I pause here for 5 seconds. If you want to take a snapshot, I'll note it down. Culture feeds on values. Communication is the key. Master your routines. Focus on personal development. And track and evaluate your progress towards your first quarter. That's it from my side, guys. To quickly recap, we did a reflection of your personal why. I asked you to always remember your personal why. Then we went into understanding why first 90 days are important. And we actually mapped out your first 90 days in the progress in the order of before 90 days, first day, then first month, and then first quarter, and even after 90 days. Then I shared some tips for you to hack your quarter one. Well begun is half done. So get it right, do it well. That's quote by Aristotle. So yeah, all the best for your LCP term. And I wish we can have more interaction. But yeah, that's my last session for the day. And in all the 3 workshops I did with you, I left it open for you to continue working on. So if you have any more doubt, feel free to get in touch with us, talk with me, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer you. Thank you. The session is done. Do you guys have any question? Or does anyone want to share? How was it? How was this for you?
I have a question, quick one. What's your LinkedIn again? Sorry.
It's prayog.mali. My name dot surname.
Right, cool. Thank you.
Just name and surname. There's no dot in between. It's Prayog Mali. Sorry.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Does anyone have any question? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Nice. If you don't have any questions, then that's it. You have a break now, and see you at your R&R launch campaign, which is in I think 30 minutes. So yeah, you have a break now, and then see you there, and see you at the closing plenary. Don't miss it, guys. See you. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Thank you.